Pallab Banerjee, MD, Pearl Global, joining in. Pallab, always a pleasure to have you on. And we'll speak from the industry perspective as well, not necessarily from a Pearl Global perspective, because you're seeing that stock movement. It's on the basis or the hope that there is going to be a reversal in tariffs. As an industry right now, how much are the tariffs hurting?
Hi, good morning, Tamanna. Thank you for having me on this show. Definitely, tariff is hurting the Indian exports because most of the customers, most of the brands and retailers who buys from India, they have an option. If they buy it from other countries like Bangladesh, Indonesia, Vietnam, they get almost a 30% advantage in terms of the customs duty or the tariff that they would be paying in US. So naturally, they want this industry or the Indian industry to absorb that much of difference, which works out to close to about anywhere between 15-16% for a seller to reduce the price. And that's not the margin that this industry operates on. So naturally, it's hurting at this point of time. The players have booked business from US, but just to have this, to see like what happens for one quarter or one season. So if it doesn't go away, then definitely we'll see a steep fall. And of course, the smaller players may have already stopped shipping or who cannot afford to give a discount or a rebate of this 15-16% to compensate that 30% difference. So naturally, this is definitely not a good situation for Indian exporters at this point of time.
Pallab, good morning, Neeraj here, and to you a very happy new Samvat to you and team at Pearl Global. I just wanted to know, how does this work? So if there are these murmurs of a trade deal in the offing, are clients willing to say that, okay, maybe it's a month away, let's wait, because we do not want to change suppliers at a whim, because these relationships, I reckon, get cultivated with a lot of effort over a long period of time, right? So how does this work typically?
See, when this 50% tariff hit us, I think it caught everybody by surprise. Not only the Indian suppliers, but also most of the customers. Most of the customers were expecting a better deal with India. So as a result, everybody was caught by surprise. And then in terms of this relationship, whatever the depth is, ultimately it's all about, your quarterly results, your earnings of the company. So naturally, relationship is on one side and the profitability or the earnings is on the other side. So keeping that in mind, so yes, when it was only 10% tariff for that period before the actual tariffs were announced by the Trump administration, during that phase it was talking about, okay, let's share it, let's continue, let's not disturb it. But when the 50% tariff hit, then it was all about, okay, the sharing percent has to grow up because everybody has an option. But because it's fashion, so a lot of work also happen or pre-happen before the actual orders are placed. So wherever all these works were already done, the customers and the suppliers continued. Of course, the expectation was that to split or majority portion was being absorbed by the suppliers. So that's what happened in the spring summer season. Now, like, it has to change, or I am sure like things will go down steeply.
So if this changes, let's say in the next 1 month, Pallab, does it have a major dent on FY26 numbers, or do you believe things will recoup themselves even if they are happening with a delay?
So if it happens now, like let's say, the assumption or the expectation
next 1 month.
So expectation is that something will happen in November. If that happens, then I think things will be quickly back into shape, or maybe a little bit of growth depending on what the final percentage is. If it remains at 25% tariff, then it will be difficult. Maybe India will bleed a little bit, the Indian players. But if it's at 20%, then India gets a fair, it's a fair deal with all other countries. But if it goes below 20%, then there will be definitely a windfall in favor of India. So it can go either way at this point of time, in anybody's guess, I think. Although like a lot of speculation and a lot of news is going around that things could be better, but business can't depend on it. We need actual numbers.
I'm wondering if, the whole push that had come in that let India diversify. And yes, this trade issue might be sorted for now, but the sign is already there that India needs to diversify away from the dependence on the US as a market. Individual companies need to be doing that. Is that happening? Are companies doing that? What is your outlook there?
Absolutely. Like, for example, at Pearl, we were diversified already. Like, we had all the markets that we are catering into, and also we were manufacturing from other region of the world. So naturally, this was not so much of an impact for us. But yes, for the India portion of the business, we have to find a quick solution if it stays, if the tariff stays at 50%, or if it's a disadvantageous to India, then we have to, slowly de-risk and decouple with US. I think US part of the business as much as possible. But if it goes back into normal, then things, I think that's what the expectation is, that things should go back into, equitable kind of tariff across other countries. But the other portion which we talk about is very important. Like, how do you diversify? Like, why India was not the strongest in this particular sector or in manufacturing in general. I think that's the time. This is a good time for India to really introspect, or maybe like some policy changes that is being discussed and worked upon should come through, so that India becomes a stronger manufacturing base, and also for the apparel sector, where we transform the field workers into a first level of factory workers. I think so. That's something is very important, and this is the time that India should, or all the introspection that we have done in the last few months should result into something good in terms of policies, in terms of certain changes, so that we can be really a stronger country in terms of our manufacturing,
Right.
and creating more jobs in the factories.
Pallab, just one final question. Do you personally, as Pearl Global, get impacted too much because you have diverse operations across countries? So is the scene as bad for you, or you are okay with the current setup of tariffs?
So
Quick
for
30
us,
seconds. Yeah.
it was for this particular quarter where we were stuck with the US business because it was too soon to change. So that's where, like, we have to take a hit in the margin, as the expectation was there from the retailer side. But from, it's a very temporary phenomena. In terms of our top line, that will not come down; it will only grow. But in terms of our bottom line, maybe like a little bit of blip could be there. And then, of course, as things becomes normal, or even if it doesn't become normal for India, then Pearl will not be affected in the long run.
Got it. Okay. Pallab Banerjee, thank you so much for bringing us those details. Really appreciate your time and wishing you a great new Samvat. So that's Pearl Global.